Y'all, today is a big day. Hitting up Rainbow Springs Campground, and we're gonna do a full unedited tour. We're also gonna give you completely honest opinion. It's not gonna be dictated by the Google reviews. It's gonna be dictated by, what we actually see and experience. So let's get to it. Okay guys, so this is where you have to park if you want to lug your kayaks and your boards down. We're gonna show you how far it is because it's definitely a con.
Heck yeah.
It's definitely a con.
It's
now
a con because you're paying so much to go here and then you got to lug it all down, but it's still a nice campsite.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and take you guys down, show you how far it is, the swimming area, the pavilion area, and just chat along the way.
Word.
Let's head out. Okay, so this right here used to not be there, and you used to actually be able to drive down to where they loaded up for tubing. However, people ruined it by not pulling over and the tram couldn't get through, so now you can't access down here. Now I just have to show you guys this. This is Old Florida, and it is beautiful. So this is definitely a pro to this campground, is that they leave so much of the natural habitat. It's protected and it's just beautiful. Now there is obviously gators here. It's Florida. There's bodies of water and swampland. You're gonna have gators. You're also gonna have snakes here. You're gonna have spiders. You're gonna have flying caterpillars. You're gonna have our skeeters. You know, you're in nature. That's the whole point of being here. But it is stunning. So this is the area before. You used to be able to drive down over this road, pull off to the side, unload, and then it took you to the pavilion area where the tubers came in. But people would stay in the middle of the road, the tram couldn't get through, now we can't access it, which makes the hike to drag your stuff so much further. Especially if you have a lot of gear and you're taking a cooler because you plan on being out on the water all day. So it's definitely a trek. And we were actually talking like they have so much really empty space that wouldn't be destroying anything. The tubes used to be here and they were in big cages. Tubing season starts Memorial Day and it runs through Labor Day. This is a bathhouse that's not open except for during tubing season. So this is the loading zone. You used to be able to pull up here, unload your stuff, come down the walkway, and then it wasn't that far of a walk. But all of this space, like, gosh, they could use this for parking, for extra parking, so that you don't have to just carry your stuff so far. And I will say, like you can see, there's a lot of dead brush. It's just dead. I'm not sure why they're not really cleaning it up. There are definitely areas that need to be updated at this campground. And prices did go up. They're booked all year. But like this outdoor area, I mean, it's pretty dilapidated. I mean, wood is splitting. They need to really repaint the sign. This is more for like group camping. I'm assuming for like youth group stuff, but you know, not a lot of money to really make it nicer. But there's just broken wood pieces and they just like took out the posts and just kind of tossed them to the side. So this is really the only area that's like, you know, not very beautiful. And then up here is the storage area for the kayaks. So your kayak and tubing launch is going to be to the left. That's where your dock is. Swimming area is only for campers, and it's to the right. So we're going to take a quick look at the swim area first. and then head over to the dock. But you literally have to carry your stuff all the way down that way. Now, that's a huge no-no, to actually strap your boards and kayaks. I mean, I get it. It's a long walk. It's a pain in the butt, but you're not supposed to do that. And they are leaving notes. It actually hurts the trees. So there are some pavilion areas. There are picnic benches. There's a grill here. You can see where like the boar come in and dig all this up. So they are out here at night just wreaking havoc. So here's the swim area, and it is, you know, decent size, not super deep. I think it goes up to about 3.5 feet. So this is not going to be your clearest area to swim. But you know, if you're wearing Crocs or water shoes, then it's not going to bug you. But it is pretty, there's a lot of algae. And again, guys, there are alligators. They're along the trails. They're here. I mean, this is their home. So this is for a used fishing line, because they don't want you obviously just tossing it, which sadly people do. So there are steps leading down, and then we're going to cut through, take a closer look at the area for the kayaks. Now you can use these racks and just secure your stuff here. So this is a mix of, these are rentals, these are personal. Now there used to actually be a cart that was for the park. You could use it to drag your stuff down. Once they changed it, you'd take it back to by the ranger station. It's gone, somebody stole it. So now you're stuck just lugging it around. So this is where you come out and you launch for your kayaks, your boards, and then also the tubing area. Now right there where you see the boat, that's KP Hole. We're just above it. Right around this corner right here is Gissy Springs. Straight up is the Head Springs. And then heading down at the river, you've got your tubing entrance about halfway down. If you keep going, you hit the Withlacoochee. And it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. It's already getting busy out there. We've got obviously scuba divers that you need to pay attention to when you're on the water as well. So first up, we have the walk-in sites for tent camping only. Now, even their tent sites all come equipped with water and electric. They're also all going to have a picnic table and a fire pit as well. Now, some of these, it's not a long walk from where the campground is. However, if you have a lot of gear, you need to be mindful that if you get stuck in one of these back sites, you're going to be lugging your stuff pretty far. So I would definitely suggest, you know, not trying to do an overnight trip here if you have a lot of gear. Make it worthwhile to actually stay here a little bit longer. Now, like I said, they've got water and they have hookups, 30 and 50 amp along with 20 amp as well. And then they also have barbecues on each site, like I said, a fire pit, and their picnic tables. Now, their picnic tables are pretty run down, but they still serve the purpose. The ground is hard packed as well. So just be prepared to duke that out and have the battle of your lifetime trying to stake your tent into the ground. Now, depending on where you're at, this right here is Loop A. Some of the sites have absolutely no shade, and they have gotten rid of all of the trees. Other sites have partial shade where you've got a few trees, and then other sites are fully shaded. So if you are using a Starlink, I really suggest when you go online to try to reserve your space, you're looking at what the details for the site are. It will tell you if it is partial, full shade, or no shade. And I believe total they have, I think, 7 tent-only campsites. It's either 6 or 7. Those ones usually you can score. You know, when there is an empty site, it's typically a walk-in tent site. And this is the only bathroom they have for Loop A. So, you know, this area in the front, each of the bathrooms are going to have all of the rules. It's going to give you the map so that you know where you're at. It's going to show you where the head springs are. And then it's going to let you know that obviously there's no Wi-Fi here unless you bring your Starlink. Now, they do say, you know, don't bring firewood in from other areas, but honestly, they don't check. It's not a big deal. For their women's bathroom, you've got your shower and you have the one toilet. So that's the only downside to Loop A is there's actually quite a lot of campsites, and this is the only bathhouse. So, you know, you probably will be waiting, or you'll need to just pack your stuff up in your car and drive over to either B or C, where they have multiple showers and multiple bathrooms. Overall, you know, it's clean. It's just dated is all. They haven't really upgraded. It's also, I'll be honest, a little bit nerve-wracking that they have kind of the shades in there and you feel like people can see in even though they can't. It is nice that they have the sidewalks on Loop A. So you can take the sidewalk all the way over to the ranger station as well as the stores. Now there is parking throughout, so Loop A has regular spots along the side, and then you also have all of the parking as well in front of the ranger station. There's a couple of spots before you get to the crossbar going into the kayak area and the swim area. And it is nice that right behind the store, they have a big pavilion as well with some picnic tables. So if you want to just, you know, kind of have a picnic down below, you can there as well. So these bathrooms that used to be open, they're still not working. They're still not open. They shut them down. They have never been fixed. That is, I'll be honest, a real bummer. Because it makes a huge difference. The laundry facility, however, is open, and this is the one for Loop A. Now at Loop B and Loop C, you'll see later in the video, they have two, well, it's one set. They have a washer and a dryer at each of those bathroom facilities that you can use, but if you've got a lot of stuff and you need to wash multiple things at once, you'll want to go to the Loop A laundromat. All right, now let's go check out the store. They do have, you know, normal things if you might have forgotten a hat, a vest, that type of thing, pool noodles, sunscreen. It's very, very basic, so don't expect to be able to come here and buy groceries or, you know, hairbrushes if you forgot it, that type of thing. They don't have that. It's geared more towards RV stuff and, you know, propane, charcoal, that type of stuff. And then they've got, you know, a couple of things for kids, small snorkel, you know, things, water shoes, that type of thing. But if you're expecting a much bigger general store, this is definitely not going to be that for you. Now, on the other side of the store is the Ranger check-in. This is the main entrance when you come into. It's going to dump out right here, and this is where you go to check in. So one of the things that we have found is the hours can vary. We've come before and, you know, they're closed. They have a sign up that says, sorry, we're not here. We'll be back at 11. So, you know, that's the only thing is Sometimes you may have to go to your campsite, unload, get ready, and then just come back, because I believe there's only 2 rangers for the whole park. So if they get called out, they may have to close and go deal with something else, and then they'll be back later on. Another thing that has recently changed is you used to be able to go in the morning. Check-in is at 3 p.m. and you used to be able to go in the morning. You could park in the main lot, go out on the water, enjoy the day, and then come back at 3, and they're no longer allowing that. I'm not quite sure why. I tried to actually get an answer from her on the phone, and I didn't get one. She just said that that rule has changed within the last 4 months, so that was kind of a bummer, because, you know, check-in time at 3 o'clock, you're almost done with the day, especially in fall and winter when the time has changed. So that was definitely a con, not being able to actually get the gate code to come in earlier, enjoy the river while you're waiting for your campsite to get, you know, vacated and cleaned. Now, they do make it really easy when you come in. They have signs up letting you know where to go. So depending on what loop and what site number you have, you just follow the signs and you're going to be able to see where you're supposed to go. And then the site number itself will be on the wood posts in front of each site. Now, all throughout the campground, there are camp posts available. We personally have never needed them or really, you know, had to ask them for anything, but they are there, and they do have the signs letting you know that is where a camp post is located. Now, one thing I will say about Florida campgrounds is everybody is really friendly, and, you know, you can strike up conversations with pretty much anybody. Everybody's waving, they're saying hi. So that is definitely a pro for camping in the state of Florida, because people are just friendly, and the natural habitat around is stunning. Now, once you get to Loop B and C, you'll have the much bigger bathrooms that are running. They've got several bathroom stalls for the men, several showers, same thing with women, and then each of the bathrooms in Loop B and C have the family one as well. So that is pretty much just like the one in A. It's one big bathroom that has a toilet and a shower. Now, their washers and dryers are $2 each. So $2 to run your wash, $2 to dry. Now, it's also nice that each of the bathroom areas, there is handicap parking out front. So that is really a good feature for a lot of people to be able to have access to. You can just pull right up, park, and then use the bathroom, take a shower, and go back to your campsite. On Loop B and Loop C, they definitely have left a lot more of the vegetation, which, like I've said before, is absolutely beautiful. I'm not sure why they removed so much in Loop A, but Loop B has a lot more trees, a lot more shade, and it's just much more beautiful, in my opinion, on these two loops than on Loop A. You do also need to pay attention. There are a lot of one-way streets, so just pay attention to the signs, don't go the wrong way, and then always be aware there's a lot of people out on bikes, walking their dogs, you know, at nighttime as well when it's dark. So just make sure that you're following the speed limit, which is 5 miles an hour, and it's just for everybody's safety. Now, located in between Loop B and C, they've got these 3 extra parking spots. So if you have visitors or if you need extra space, you are able to park there as well. Okay, now we're going to be going and checking out Loop C, and this is the last loop in Rainbow Springs State Park Campground. So there's 3 loops, 3 sets of bathrooms, and like I said before, honestly, Loop B and C are our favorites. There are a couple spots in A that are really beautiful and nice, but a lot of the sites in Loop A are barely any shade, which if you know anything about our summers here in Florida, let me just say you will melt. Hi.
Hello.
This is the area where you can pre-wash clothes, also rinse out pots and pans. And sorry guys, we're not checking out the men's facilities, but they're exactly the same as the women's. Now, I will say in the spring and summer, this place is packed during tubing season. It's crowded all year round, but it's a completely different demographic. So if you're wanting more of a quiet camping experience, I highly suggest you stick with fall and winter. If you're wanting, you know, it for louder, for more families, more kids around, then that's going to be your spring and summer season. So just plan accordingly on what your preference is. Now, another thing I will say is when you are on the reservation site, each site is going to tell you what size rig it can accommodate. So it's going to let you know if it's a pull-through site, it's going to let you know what size it can accommodate up to, how many cars. I believe almost all of these sites allow for up to 2 tents. So like I said before, just understand the ground is really hard in this campground. So it is really, really difficult to get stuff staked into the ground. Okay, so takeaways. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest. There's a lot of other beautiful campgrounds. Now, you know, we live in the area, we get to visit Rainbow all the time. So for us, yeah, it's not, because we don't have to come to the campground. And even if you're visiting the area, you can still launch from KP Hole. You can still launch from Blue Run. And honestly, like, it's the same distance of a walk here to get your stuff down as it is if you start at the head spring and launch from there. You know, the other pros, obviously here, you can launch your own tubes, so you're not stuck just renting. If you're at the campground, you can have your private tubes that you can launch and go down. But you can't do that from KP Hole any longer. You can't do it from Rainbow because the top portion is protected, so you can't get in the water at all. You have to be in a kayak or a board. So, you know, that's a pro. Facility, it's kind of run down, guys. Bathrooms are kind of run down. They have no ice here. We did find that out yesterday. Their wood, what'd she say their wood was? $10.99?
It was $10.99 a bundle, yeah. And you can get it at, I think it was Tractor Supply for $5.99 a bundle.
And that's literally like a 10-minute drive into town. You know, convenience, sure, if you run out, but they do close at 5 o'clock. So you got to make sure that you actually get it at that point. It's better just to drive the 10 minutes and save. I mean, it's almost twice the price here. So they did not have ice. Their propane runs about the same as, you know, Wawa and gas stations. I do believe it is cheaper at Walmart, though. I think Walmart's like 19 bucks. Here it's $23.99. What was some of the other
I mean, they
cons?
they did clean up a lot of the stuff around here that was in the, you know, the little prairie or whatever you want to call it. But I think that, you know, they could have done a little bit better maintenance on it. maybe turn some of this into picnic area.
Parking.
Yeah, over here, I mean, there's plenty of room and space for parking without really disturbing too much of the habitat and all that.
But yeah, it's a con. It's definitely a con to walk all the way down here, you know. I mean, the bathrooms serve their purpose, but they're definitely run down. Shangri-La is way nicer, about half the price, you know, and it's what, 15 minutes from here?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously there's got no river there, but
you can drive to the river though.
Yeah,
and
you
launch.
can drive to the river. Not only that, but you know, with the tram services, you know, they should really, with the price that they're charging to stay here, they should really think about adding a tram service where they'll bring your kayak or your paddle boards down.
So, you know, it really depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking to just get away, and like I said, we live close by, so for us, it's just not worth it because we can literally go to Rainbow anytime we want and launch someplace else where it's closer and we're not having to lug all of our stuff. Another thing is yesterday when we got the paperwork, they sent a notice saying that the bathroom seas were down. The hot water tank had pooped out. They had bids out. Nobody was responding, yada, yada. Well, when I went there today to show you guys the bathroom C, the ranger there's like, I don't know what they're talking about because I'm using hot water now, and I went inside and the showers weren't closed. So that's a pro tip. Actually check to see if that's true or not if you get a letter like that, because you may be missing out on having a closer shower if you're in the C zone going all the way to B or A and you don't need to. All right, guys, so that does it for this review. We are off to our next adventure.
That's right. I think we're going to the beach today.
Yes.
So we'll go see what's going on down there.
Film that for you guys, and until the next time, get outside and make some memories. See you then.
Word.